Well, hello there. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back, perhaps, too. And let's dive in to what we've got going on today. This beautiful mess that we've got here is our attempt to play around with some blending of dry and wet signal with the fuzz. Now, when I was looking at fuzz pedals to buy, one of my requirements was a dry-wet mix. One of the leading contenders was the Spaceman Nebula, which had the octave and dry-wet blend. Some great demonstrations on YouTube. My impression was that this fuzz button on the fuzz knob on the Jackson Audio was in fact a dry-wet blend. I was mistaken. But there are a great many things that this pedal offers that the Spaceman Nebula did not or does not, although it would be lovely to try that sometime too. The basic idea, though, is that in a fuzz tone, especially with the contrabass clarinet, I may well want to blend in some of the dry signal so that, especially because it's such a low instrument, I won't be losing any of the punch or the richness of the low register. So, thus we have the Omni signal blender. We've got our samples here that we've been using recently, and yeah, it all seems ready to go. Now, for the fuzz, what I've got set up is one of the settings that I've been using a lot recently. This is with the Modern Fuzz module. We will be trying other modules with this because I suspect there'll be need for different blend levels with different modules. We will see, though. This is the Modern Fuzz module, a setting that we've been using a lot recently. And Signal Blender, we've got the input here from the Wally Plus. We've got the fuzz in the A channel, and we've also got the clean channel here, B being empty. Now, what we have found so far is that the clean, the volume level on the knobs, unity gain is around like 2 o'clock. So that means there's a lot of room for subtlety. But what we're going to start with is just a little bit of comparison there. So let's start with that. You will probably recognize this riff by now, perhaps, if you've seen previous videos. This is from Little Green Spirits. And as you'll hear, 2 o'clock is about unity gain. So, fuzz channel, expect a jump in volume. So, what we're going to do is match the volumes roughly so that the clean signal and the fuzz signal are roughly the same. I could have just been turning this on and off. Let's just stick with that for now. Okay, I'm relatively happy with that. So we've got these guys at like roughly matched volumes. I'm going to just fiddle around a little bit now and see if we can't figure out some kind of interesting balance. So. That's okay. I mean, it's pretty clear that that's an improvement. We definitely want to have some dry signal in there for general richness. Yeah, that to me seems pretty obvious. In terms of fiddling around with levels, I'm not sure if that's like really necessary. Yeah, I'll have another little fiddle, but I think that what we might do is try a different sample maybe after this. So. I mean, even at lower levels, I mean, with the dry signal at lower levels, yeah, it's still a difference. So let's try that other riff. This is from Shiva the Destroyer. Yeah, again, definitely necessary. Yeah, it adds depth. It adds punch. Yeah, even there, with the fuzz turned up higher, having some of that that dry signal in there as well really helps. I mean, that riff goes down to the low C on the contrabass, the lowest note. So, yeah, it's necessary, I feel. Okay, well, I can't really think of anything else there. Let's go back to the original riff. I mean, I think what we're partly working towards here is a way of building up a sound. Like what I'm using at the moment are sounds that I've been working on for songs in the past, with the idea that I would only be using the fuzz pedal. What I'm probably going to have to do is come back and, you know, rework the EQ and the fuzz level and that kind of thing with this in mind. But for now, let's stick with previous settings for the fuzz pedal, and just see what it's like when we add in the dry signal too. I mean, so far, to my mind, it's unquestionable that it adds something subtle but really, really important. I mean, especially if we're going to be putting this on big speakers. So let's try a different module and a setting. Let's go for the Fuzz Page Mark II. Okay, we're back again. Let's take a look. So nothing's changed here. Let's see how the fuzz sounds. Okay, yeah, pretty intense. I've been noticing I really love this Fuzz Page Mark II sound. Listening to recordings that we've done. Let's see how it benefits from the dry signal. Yeah. Pretty clear. Okay, pretty clear to me that helps. I do love the sound of it on its own. I just love that broken, fuzzy goodness. But yeah, the dry signal helps immeasurably. Let's have a listen to Shiva the Destroyer riff. Even at this lower volume, still sounds great. I mean, yeah, even with this up high and a little fuzz, still a great sound. I mean, there is the distortion of the fuzz. I mean, especially this Fuzz Page Mark II module has a lot of white noise. We're going to be working on that with a noise gate and a compressor. But this is awesome. And then Okay, so again, I think it's pretty indisputable that I mean, this Fuzz Page Mark II is definitely, I think it definitely does better with the low stuff. I mean, it could be something to do with the fact we've got the bass pushed up a little bit in this setting, but I do feel that the Fuzz Page Mark II module does give us a better responsiveness in the low end, but it is still benefited by having some of the old dry signal in there too. Something we didn't try with the modern fuzz is to introduce a little bit of octave. Now, my suspicion is that, like, with the octave, it takes away even more punch from the low end, and that's something that we can compensate for with this dry blend going on. So, let's see. Yeah, I think that's great. With and without the octave, having the dry signal in there is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I did like both the with and without the octave sound for the fuzz, and it was very tempting to get pulled into fiddling around with those octave settings there to get something really nice. But as a general concept, I think that we're doing nicely here, and the conclusion is still very, very clear, I think. So let's try one more fuzz. I would like to try, let's have a quick look, the goat head, because this one I remember really, really, really liking the sound. It was almost like a kind of a synth sine wave, like distorted sine wave kind of sound, but it was also somewhat thin. And of course, blending in dry signal is exactly what we want to help with that. So let's play around with that. Okay, and we're back again. So we don't have a specific setting in mind for the goat head module. So we're just going to work on that very briefly. Let's set things back to predictable. There we go. And let's set these guys. I mean, that's usually where I like fuzz. Okay. So there we go. I love that boomy, empty quality to it. You can fill that in a little bit. Scoop it out even more. Oh, that's lovely. I'm gonna get sucked into this if I'm not careful. That's an interesting thing with the bass taken out, like a thinner kind of thing. Maybe we can compensate with some of the dry signal, but we'll come back to that. Yeah, okay, that's fine for now. Out of curiosity, let's see what it sounds like with some octave. Oh, yes. Awesome. That's nice. Adds a bit of an edge. Okay, that's all cool. Let's see about the dry signal. Oh. Yes. Okay, I suspected this might be the case. It's like a thinner fuzz sound with the goat head module, which I like. I remember using it in a song when I first started playing with these different modules, but it's lovely to be able to fatten it up. Okay, let's just play with the levels there. Here's an interesting little side exploration. We'll do only the octave. extra punch. Yeah, that pretty much speaks for itself to me. Whether it's just the fuzz or it's the fuzz with the octave, having that extra dry stuff blended in makes a really big difference. Well, there we go. I was suspecting that this would be a pretty clear conclusion, and there it is. Do we want to try the Shiva sample? Let's try the Shiva sample. Notice it's also giving especially those high notes, it seems to be giving them extra definition with the dry in there. Let's have a listen. Question. With the dry, we're also getting a much stronger definition to those notes, like the edges are less, or the edges are clearer. It's almost like a bubble around them. Might be not always what we want, but I feel that it's a definite positive here. Okay, let's try with the octave. Like a 12-bit effect. Oh, that's great. Well, I think all of that kind of speaks for itself. Especially with this goat's head module. I mean, that effect was just lovely. That deconstructed sound, but also being able to give it this clarity, using the dry wet. I mean, maybe I would have been better off with the Spaceman Nebula, blending in that the dry signal with an actual knob on the pedal. But I don't know. I don't think I would have been able to explore so many different tones. I mean, maybe I'll end up getting it. Who knows? But for now, this is wonderful, and I do think that this signal blender needs to be part of my chain. So let's call it a day there. Thank you again if you've stuck around for this, and I do hope it's been fun and interesting for you. Once again, the Jackson Audio Modular Fuzz, Omni Signal Blender, Wally Plus, and stay well. Take care.